I am. Y'all, listen, I really should have did all of this before I got here, so excuse me. So my
I'm
name is
doing mine too.
my name is Andrea, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I appreciate your support. So we're going to dive right into this tonight. I have a guest speaker, and her name is Latoya Shareca 2.0. She does have a YouTube channel. If you guys want to check her out, she has a phenomenal story. I enjoy her reels. She's just amazing, and she's also my friend. So with that being said, she's going to be sharing with us tonight her sexual abuse story, and how it has affected her life over the years. And I'm just going to give her the floor and let her do what she's going to do. All right, enjoy.
Okay, all right. This is. Let me get my mind right.
Take your time. Take your time. I know that this is, it's one of those topics, that take your time.
When I was getting molested, when I started getting molested, I was around the age of 5 or 6, and we was getting it was me and my sister that's under me. I don't want to call her name, but it was both of us getting molested at the same time, and we had a he was the family friend. He was the family friend till he had he was so he thought he was so smart and clever that he had figured out everybody in my household out.
Mm,
He figured out that my mama wasn't around as much as she should be around, and he figured out that my grandmama was a liked to drink. She
mm.
liked to drink. She had a special drink, and and he knew that if he was bringing that drink around,
Yeah.
it's game time.
And can I just pause you for a moment there? So, that's one of the signs, you guys. That's one of the signs. He was grooming. He was grooming the family.
Hmm.
This is something, I want to talk about the process of how pedophiles and molesters, how they approach situations. They don't just groom the child, they also tend to groom the family as well. And so I wanted to kind of put that in there. That's what that is called, grooming. But go ahead and finish on with your story.
And my child molester, he had it so good to where he was able to come in our rooms.
Mm,
He was able unsupervised. He just come in there, pop in there. He'll come from outside from his car and go straight to our rooms. And he had a choice. He had to either get me or he'd get my sister, but he
mm-hmm,
had a choice. And then he'll come over my side of the bed. I'll still be in my. It'll be on the weekend or Saturday morning.
mm-hmm,
We'll still be in the covers, watching cartoon. And he'll come over there, be fondling us under the covers.
mm,
You squirming, and try to let me. I don't know, at the time, me being a kid and that young, I didn't know what to think,
right.
and at some point in time, it got to the point where I thought it was normal because this man had so much access to us. He was able to take us in his car on trips, like now on like store runs. He'll make excuses up just for us to go with him in the car to go here, and then he will take us to the parks. The one park in particular I don't like to go to when I'm in Arcata or when I was in Arcata, it was Storybook Park. He would love to take us over there in the parking lot, kissing and rubbing up on
Which
us
park is that
rubbing up
again?
on him, taking
Which
his
park?
thing out, rubbing
Oh,
it up on us, just being real nasty, just real
wh-
nasty to us.
which park did you say it was?
Storybook Park.
Is that the one with the wooden park?
That's the one with the trail.
The trail.
We got a
I
trail.
don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It's in
Okay.
Arcadia. Okay, Shaka like to be at that park a lot. When he do
Okay.
his live time, he be over there at the or walk on the trail.
I did see him walking the trail. Okay.
Yeah, and he had a lot of access to us, and it just didn't make no sense. It didn't make no sense at all. How my mom at the time, she was a young mama. My mama was 14. She was 15. 14, she got pregnant with me, and 15 when she had me. But she was going with my daddy, who was much older than her, and they really didn't know each other. They just was doing something because he come from another state with the season. With the season, they called it the season back then. So they
Yeah.
was doing watermelons or oranges or whatever the case may be. So they really didn't know each other because You would think today they would have a relationship. They don't have a relationship at all. But I'm skipping over. I'm skipping as usual. But yeah, he had a lot of access to us, and he was able to get away with a lot of stuff because a lot of times we left with my grandmama, and so
Mhm.
he knew I'm gonna bring this E and J over here and get her taken care of, and then I can have kids to myself.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So was that the only person?
that wasn't the only person, but that's the one that was molesting the longest,
The longest. Wow.
the longest.
How long
And
did it go on?
as time went on, he got caught. He got caught red handed. He was in there messing with my baby, my other sister that was under me, and he
Mhm.
got caught. And nothing happened. Nothing. He stopped coming around for like a week or two, but then was able to come right back around. But he
Mm.
didn't molest us. He stopped molesting us, and we stopped being left alone with him. But they didn't press no charges on him. They didn't do nothing to him at all. He was able to come back around, but he still had sort of a power over
Right.
me because he gave me the creeps.
Right. Right.
He gave
Right.
me the creeps. And as time went on, as I got older, I seen that he had a relationship with my mom. They started sleeping together.
Mm.
I don't know when that occurred, but eventually him and her started sleeping together, and
How
they
did
was
that
doing
make you
that.
feel? How did that
It
make
made
you
me feel.
feel?
It made me feel a certain type of way because my mama knew this man was molesting me and
Right.
my sister, but to this day she denies it. She said ain't nothing happened to me and her. She denies it to this day. And I brought it
Wow.
to her attention, and she don't want to talk about it. She said we lying. So that's why I can't deal with her. Right, I can't deal with her
Right.
because
I'm sorry.
you don't want to talk about what has hurt me. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with
Right.
that. Then you don't want to deal with me.
I'm so sorry that you didn't have your mother of all people, that the person that's supposed to protect you and wow. But you know the
But
truth.
my grandmama, like I said, when he got caught, none of them came to us, asked us how we feel. Did we need any therapy? Did we need someone we can go?
Yeah.
Ain't
Yep.
nobody do that. Nobody did none of that. So
Yep.
we had to basically just act like nothing happened.
Right. Yeah. It's same with me. Same with me. Wow.
So I had to act like nothing happened, and then I grew on food. My
Mm.
grandmama would cook, and I would stand up and watch her cook and learn how, what seasons to use, and just learn and watch her cook. And then you got to the point where I was just eating,
You found
overeating,
comfort in food.
eating my plate and somebody else's plate too. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
I just got to the point, got eating, and I started getting bigger and bigger, and I just didn't know what to do with that. And then another molester, when I was like 14. I think around 14 or 15. Then I had another molester. And same deal. He knew my mama wasn't around. She was
Mm-hmm.
somewhere courting some man. And my grandma was left, in charge of us. And they already figured out, oh, we gonna give her this drink. And we can have access to her.
Oh my God.
Grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still alive.
And was he ever arrested or anything?
No, he was never arrested because I never told on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I never told. I kept that to myself
Well, and you know why you did that, right? Because you
to
weren't
protect
believed the
them.
first time. You're right, right. You know, I'm gonna let you finish, but there's a lot of similarities in our story, and it all comes from us. We're children. We were children. So our young minds, we didn't know how to handle that. We didn't, and once it has happened so many times, I know for myself, it became the norm.
It felt normal. And I felt
Right.
like I was just going through life.
Yep.
I felt like
Yep.
I didn't know how to be a kid no more. I didn't know, and then I didn't know how to be a kid no more. And I was growing, my body was growing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting boobs and this and that. I'm having
Mm-hmm.
periods. Everything was just going so fast, and I never had. My mama never took the time out to explain anything, talk
Mm-hmm.
about sex, if anybody touching you, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? She never was. She wasn't that mama. She was more for herself than anything.
So, when you Okay, so now you're 14. How long did that experience last? Did it go on or was it just a one-time thing?
It was going on for let's say about a year, but maybe a year or two.
Okay.
Hmm. And then
And
they moved away. Him and his
oh,
wife moved away, and their children moved away.
good, good. Thank the most high. So he didn't have access to anymore. So then that was it for the sexual abuse as a child.
That was it for sexual abuse,
That was
but
it. Okay.
that was it. But I became. I wasn't so. I don't want to. I don't know if I call it promiscuous,
Hmm.
but it's type of men. It
Excuse me.
was some type of. It was a type of man that always wanted me.
Mhm.
An older type man always wanted me.
Mhm.
Always gazing and lusting after me. And if it got to the point where it made me feel uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and then I started using it to my advantage.
Okay.
As I
That
got
makes sense. That
in
makes
my
sense.
16, 17, 18, I started using it to my advantage. Well, if you want to do this, then you gonna have to do this.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm oh, what you call it? Like a trade off or something. But I
Uh-huh.
didn't lose my virginity. I never was penetrated. During all the times I was molested, I never was penetrated because I didn't lose
Okay.
my virginity. I didn't get penetrated until I lost my virginity when I turned 21.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
most they were doing is just touching and fingering and stuff like that,
Mhm.
kissing and that type of deal.
So, how did you go through life being having had these experiences, these
I
traumatic
went through life. It
experiences?
was for me. If it wasn't for my friend TR, I probably would have committed suicide.
Oh
And
God.
that's the God honest truth. Because once I got past uh the second round of me and molested, I spent time with my friend TR
Mhm.
and her family. I spent a lot of time over there with them to try to, forget about what was going on in my own home. So that was kind of my escape. And I used to spend days and on days over there with them. But then I hated it. I hated life so much. I hate the way I felt, the way I looked. I thought something was wrong with me, and I still feel like that today, like something's wrong with me, because I can't shake this weight. I mean, I can lose weight and it'll come right back on me, and I can feel like I'm making a whole lot of progress, but
Mhm.
I don't see the progress. But people say, "Well, you look like you're losing," but I'm not losing weight to where I can see it, where I'm satisfied. But
Okay.
I went through life. I went through life just going through life and like in the zone. I stayed getting picked on. People just picked on me and bothered me for no reason. Because it's my
Mhm.
weight. High school, I didn't go to my prom.
And do you think that the weight is because of the sexual abuse, though?
I
Do you
think
think
so.
you
I
no?
think it
Do you
is.
think your relationship with food, it stems from the because you had mentioned, after the first incident, you started watching your grandma cook and stuff, and you kind of seemed to me like at that point is when you kind of started forming that relationship with
Because I didn't
food.
have no comfort.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's
was
comfort.
comforting me, so
Right.
that was a comfort to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, and
And when I describe, even when I describe when I'm eating food, I describe it like I had some coffee this morning. I'm like, oh, this coffee is like a big old warm hug.
wow.
It's like a big warm hug. You don't get that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Wow.
my mama and them and my mama and my grandma, they was never big on showing emotion,
Mhm.
telling you that they love you. My mom never told us that. No, that's why I tell my kids that every day.
Mm,
I love you.
every day, yeah. Yeah.
They never showed emotion. And if you cried or anything, you weak. My mom had a big part of that too, because she would pick on me too. And say all kind of stuff. That's why nobody never want you and you're fat and you're ugly.
So you
Hmm.
experience a lot of verbal abuse as well.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
that's a form of abuse as well. And so, um, wow, that's interesting. So as far as in the sexual abuse, verbal abuse, all of this stuff, how are you dealing with this? How are you have you reached out for any help?
Well, I seek help anyways. I'm seeing a psychiatrist right now
Mhm.
to help with a lot of that because I don't sleep like I should good at night because I have nightmares. I have recurring nightmares of my mom
Oh man.
doing something silly to me.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say silly, just doing some old hateful stuff to me, or verbal abusing me, or abusing me in some kind of way, or either I'm having a dream about my childhood molester.
Mm, mm, mm.
Because
That's
he was
deep.
able to come on. He came around even when I moved out my house, my mom's house. When I turned 22 and I decided to move out my mom's house, he still was
Mm-hmm.
coming around in. And when he would come around and I come through the door and I see he was there, I would leave. I wouldn't stay around. What you leaving for? He ain't did nothing to you. What, woman?
Wow. Um.
They, but they had a sexual relationship in the end up until he died.
mm, mm. I just want to say that I'm so sorry that those things happen to you. I can relate in so many ways. I can't relate when it comes to the mom situation, but the sexual abuse for sure. I felt a lot of the feelings that you felt, and still feel. The question is, where do we go from here? That's my main thing. When I created this channel, I know that there's a lot of healing to be had. I know I myself as well formed a relationship with food, very toxic relationship. I find I get so much comfort out of food, but it's not healthy, you know what I mean? And so
No,
it's like how do I it's like it's almost like these predators are still winning the battle. These predators still have control over our lives. You know, if there is a predator that watches this video, I want you to know, and I'm speaking to you straight through your soul, you don't know how you have affected someone's life. Just because it happened as a child, that is something that we never ever forget. Are we victims? No, I'm not a victim. Am I a survivor? Yeah, somewhat, but I don't want to call myself that either. I just want to be Andrea. But because of a sexual predator, multiple sexual predators, the majority of them my own family members, I now live with all of this trauma that I constantly have to um process every single day. I never know how tomorrow is going to be appear
I don't
wise.
let my kids get out of my sight either. I don't let them go stay night nowhere or none of that.
I've spoken on that as well. Yeah, it's because we're trying to protect them. We don't want to what and you have boys.
Hmm.
We're trying to protect them because we don't want them to experience the pain that we went through, the hurt that we went through. But at the same time, with you having boys, I wanted to do a speak on this because I've been looking up some statistics, and it is proven that one in every six boys is being sexually molested versus one in every four girls are being sexually molested. Can you imagine us standing six boys in front of us, and out of them six boys, one of them is being molested, and us standing four girls in front of us, and one of those little girls are being molested, and their lives are being changed forever. And those
Forever.
are just statistics. More than likely, it's more than that. When they do the statistics, they only take 100 people, and that's what they get their results from. Honey, this world is too big to only be using
Right.
100
Right.
people.
You're right.
Something has got to be done. The signs, like you pointed out, the grooming. You know, I did not experience the grooming part of it. Um, what I experienced was a lot of I mean, heck, I can't even say that most of them were family members because, and honestly, I know that I was molested by over 10 men, and that's just the molestation. I was raped by two other men in my teen years. So, what do you do with that? What do you do? And I think the one thing that hurts me the most, and some selfish people may look at this and say, oh, get over it.
I've heard that. They need to get
No.
over it. Get over
And
it.
screw you if your thoughts are like that. Because this is something that happened to me. This is something that happened to me. And what bothers me the most about what happened to me is the fact that I could not give away my virginity. I didn't have that choice. And I struggle with that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a woman's virginity is something that's sacred. You know, that's just something that's sacred. You know, as a little girl, you don't plan to be promiscuous. I didn't plan to be promiscuous. I actually planned to save myself for my husband. Those were my plans. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not going to take over yours, whatever. If you want
No,
to
no,
add
no, no. Go
anything
ahead.
else, it's just, it is, I'm glad we're speaking about it. You know, I talk to my mom often, and I've had a conversation with her because she's so apologetic. And I said, Mom, not one time have I ever blamed you. She was so young. Who thinks that their brothers are going to molest their children? You know what I mean? My mom, I could see if my mom was ripping and running the street. She didn't do that. My mom was just working, trying to take care of us, you know, and she worked a lot, you know. And so, well, especially before we left Florida, there was people who babysit us. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, then she had friends. Their friends, boyfriends would touch us, or their mom's boyfriend. Like, oh my God. There was this one old man. Oh my God. He had to have been, and at the time, I couldn't have been no more than like 8, 9, 10. And I remember him pulling me in a closet and he just shoved his tongue down my mouth. I couldn't believe it. Like, so, and this was an old man. He had to have been in his 60s, you know,
Mm-mm.
just gross, just gross. But if I could turn back the hands of time, I would have each and every one of them locked up. I would, because you know what I often struggle with, Mookie? I struggle with wondering because I haven't spoken up and I haven't named these people. How many other children have been affected? Are they still out there touching other people's children? I struggle with that. I really do.
Yeah, because they hiding. They're hiding.
In plain sight.
They're hiding.
I don't know what to do. I struggle with that. And then I get in my head. I get to battling myself about it. You know, I don't know, Mookie. I don't know. Have you ever thought about that?
Well, I thought about that, and I want to say that part is for my plan is to write a book and put everything in my book. So
Names and
that's
all.
why I hold back with the names because I want to do it the right way. I want to put it in a book
Names
and
and
write
all.
about it.
That's smart. That's smart, Mookie.
I want to
That's
put it in a
smart.
book. And I've been typing, man. I've been typing on some, I've been writing pages here and there on my own laptop. So
Okay.
I started from the beginning, from the time
Mhm.
I started getting molested, and then through life and now I got my marriage up in the air. Just talking about all this stuff, getting off my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a good
yeah,
thing to do. That's amazing.
yeah.
I'm
But
happy for you.
that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why I stay away from Arcadia. I can't be in Arcadia. I can't be in Arcadia
Too many bad
because
memories.
Arcadia ain't nothing but a dirty secret. A dirty
You
secret.
it is what it is.
It's full of
It is
lies
what
and
it is.
deceit and dirt.
The amount of people that I've heard say that they've been pulled back in that park, like the park where people go hang out with the music and stuff. You know, the amount of people that I've heard been taken back in there and raped, the gym space. There are a lot of dirty seekers and they hold on to them. They hold on to them like my cousin BJ. You know, it amazes me how everyone will get online and will talk about everything, right? But when he got accused of, sleeping with the young girl, underage girl at school. Um, and is sitting in prison right now doing his time. They still don't believe it. They still don't talk about it. I saw one person talk about it, and that was Thomas. I forget his last name. One
From
person.
Texas.
Hmm. That was the only person I seen talk about it. And I mean, really, what? Because, girl, I could say some stuff about my cousin. You understand what I'm saying? That's my cousin. His daddy is my mother's brother. Okay, so I know him. Child, you keep thinking people is innocent and this. Okay, it's just we can't turn a blind eye to
All the
things
time.
just because someone's
Not
in a
all the time.
right, just because someone's in a position or someone's popular, popular. So what? You
But it
can't
be the
turn a
ones, it be the ones that's popular, that's in those up held up high positions. It be those types of people that's doing
Mhm.
stuff to people.
Yeah,
It be them type of people. Oh, you think the world, oh, they can't never do no wrong.
it
But
do.
another thing I want to say is, when you was talking about that 60-year-old man, he shoved his tongue down your throat. But you know what? During the times we was coming up, them old men was able to date 14, date our mamas and stuff like that and aunties. They was able to do that. And I guess their mentality thought, well, let me go ahead and get the offspring too. Let me get the offspring.
That's true. Because when I think about it, how young my mom was and how old my sister's dad was, Leon Wesley, and my dad, Henry Kimbrough. You know what I'm saying? My
Mm-hmm.
dad was 26 when my mom had me. And my mom had me at 13, either 13 or 14. And my
My mom got
sister,
pregnant with me when she was 14. And I think my dad was like 22, 23.
she had my sister at 12. 12. So we're a year apart. So both of our dads were, I believe Leon was older than my dad. But either way, they were both well into their 20s. They had no
Mm-hmm.
business messing with that little old girl, you know. But yeah, it's just a lot. And what I do know is that I am going to use my platform for anyone that want to come forward and tell their story. Get it out, talk about it, move forward, share my journey moving forward. Like every day that I come on this camera, every time I come on this camera, ain't gonna be all laughs and jokes. Because the reality of it is that when I open up these old wounds, I go through an emotional roller coaster. Like I have to process this stuff because I've kept it closed for so
Right.
long and then it hits me all over again. So I have to get through it. And I want to show that raw side of me. You understand? And it's going to
Yeah.
be what it's going to be. I hope and pray that somebody is receiving help from us just talking about these things. Um I would love for more men to come forward. I have had two men share their stories with me already. One man, he's never told anyone. I was the first person he's ever told, and he said his wife doesn't even know about it. I was like,
Mm.
wow. And there was this person was doing it to him and his brother, and this man was well into his 50s. Well into his 50s. And he all those years he hadn't told nobody, you know. So now I want to get to, and so here's my thing. With all of this, I have always struggled with dating. Like how does it affect your life? For me, okay, I'll go first and then I'll let you go. For me, I've always well, we talked about the children, and how we sheltered them or whatever. Um, Dating wise, I always was one foot out the door at the beginning of the relationship. I was already one foot out, ready for them to do something wrong so I could opt out of the relationship. I was setting the relationship up to fail before I even gave it a chance. I never gave relationships a chance. And I know for a fact that I heard a lot of men doing that, being that way, and now I'm regretful, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing it because I was scared. I was doing it because I was scared of being hurt. You know what I mean? Um, Even them getting close to me, like I would get really, really bad anxiety. I want to be held. I want to feel safe in a man's arm, but I can't. I will burst out sweating. Like I can feel a person getting close to me, and I can't do it. I cannot do it. And so I'm just never comfortable. I want to feel comfortable with a man. You understand? I want to feel safe. I want to be able to have conversations and believe that he's telling me the truth and believe he's going not just going to hurt me, because that's all I know is hurt from men. That's all I know. No, I want to put them all in the same category? No, I don't. No, I don't. But 9 times out of 10, that's what they end up doing. You know what I mean? So how
Yeah.
has it affected you in your relationships?
Well, when it came to dating, when I was in my teenagers, I didn't really date too much. I had people setting me up on what you call it, blind dates, but it wasn't
Mhm.
nothing to stick because I didn't take it seriously. Because in my mind, I always thought about, oh, nobody will never want you, and that was being preached to me in my house. Nobody will never want you, so I never would take it seriously
Yeah.
until
Sure.
I was on the job, my first real job working, and I met my the man that took my virginity, and um we started out working, just being friends, because I already knew him from previous. I already knew him and stuff, so
Mhm.
it was easy. And then we started carpooling, and then we started getting real close. But as I
As
didn't
time
really,
went on.
really, I didn't really, really take it seriously like I should have took it. I knew the man eventually started liking me, and I felt enough to give him my cookie. I gave him my cookie. I
Mhm.
didn't know what was going on when I gave him my cookie. I didn't know because nobody told me that you were gonna be bleeding between your legs and you're
Mhm.
gonna be feeling hurt after all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nobody explained that to me. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
we ended up moving together. I didn't know what I was doing when I did that. When I got with this man and we ended up moving together, I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was what I knew at home. It was
Right.
my mom had me in and out, and a lot of times they was fighting on her and this and that. I that's what I knew at home. So
Yeah, you
we
thought
didn't
that was
last,
the
we didn't stay
norm.
together long.
Mhm.
And then a few years later, I had somebody to set me up with my husband, and I didn't know nothing about him from a can of paint.
Mhm.
But he was the man that was to go and come and break me down because I was so tough, and I didn't want nobody to break me down or try to figure me out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like I had to keep my image, my tough
Gotta go.
exterior image. I didn't want to be loved because I was always told you're not going to be loved. Nobody never wants you. But it's like he worked on me long enough to break me down,
Mhm.
not for the
To
good, either
let
for
your
the
guard
worst.
down.
Yeah, got my guard down, but for the worst. But God knows if I was in the right mindset and I was able to live my life coming up the right way, I would never made that mistake right there. I would never made that mistake. I,
Yeah.
I, I honestly believe I would never made that mistake and married that man and
I
got with that
think
man.
I
That was
can
a
relate
bad
with you.
decision. And I married him, and he's just like my mama. He's so evil and hateful. He's just like her. He's
Mm.
just like her. And when they tell people when you marry somebody, you want to marry somebody like your parents. I married
Mm.
somebody just like my mom.
My God. Mm. 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 Wow, that's deep. That's a deep revelation. That's deep right there, Mookie. Have you
Yeah.
spoken to your therapist about that?
Not yet.
'Cause I can
We still
tell
working
that
on. We working on some other things, but
I can
it's
tell that
coming. It's coming
that
along.
bothered you.
It's coming along.
I can tell that that one's a deep one, a deep
This,
revelation. Like, wow, oh man, that's
this
deep.
man, he was gonna leave me. He was gonna break up with me. Let me tell you something. This man took me through a whole lot. He was gonna break up with me, and I begged this man. I got on my hands and knees, and I begged that man not to leave me, not to leave me. And from that day on, he knew he had me. However, he wanted to have me.
Mm,
He had me fucked up.
mm, I'm sorry to hear that. Dang. But you know what?
The amount of abuse I took from this man, I never should have took that abuse. I
Yeah,
never should have took it. I remember one day we was cooking. We just got through cooking food, and we had got into an argument. He stayed arguing, especially when it's something he was trying to do. He
yeah.
stayed kicking up an argument, kicking an
Mm-hmm.
argument. And I had fixed my food. You know, this motherfucker hawked in my plate. He hawked in my food. He hawked in my food. I had to fix me a whole
What?
nother plate.
What?
He spit in my food.
Oh, honey, ain't nothing good coming to him. Ain't nothing. You say he did who? No,
Hawked.
ma'am.
He
No, ma'am.
came
No,
up
ma'am.
from the bottom and spit in my food.
Well, what did he, why did he do that? I mean, there's
We
no
was
reason to
arguing.
do
We was
that.
arguing because he loved back in the day before we got married. He loved to accuse me of messing around. That was his number one go to. You messing with
Mm.
this? Let me look at somebody. Just let me just glance over to somebody. Oh, you fucking him. You doing this. You doing that. That was his number one go to. Even when I
So,
was pregnant with his first child, when pregnant with my first child, I'm always doing something.
so that was his. He was yeah, he was already the cheater. The
Yeah,
ones that
yeah.
accuse are typically. Now what I have learned in life,
When I got with this
you got
man, I thought when I got with this man, I thought my game was pimp tight. Baby, it was nothing. I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared for that. I wasn't.
so that the Hawk spit was that done before y'all moved to Georgia,
Before we lived in Port Charlotte then at the time.
girl? And I know things got worse once you went to Georgia because now you are away from. He's away from people. He know you away from people, so he
Mm-hmm.
can really show his tail.
Mm-hmm. And he would.
Mhm.
He would. He would.
I can't
That's why I was
believe
so
that.
glad when he got that job, when he was being able to travel a lot, because they
Hmm.
gave me a little breathing room.
Yeah.
Because at home, everything was so tense. He was always nitpicking on shit. Ooh, it's something on the floor. Ooh, this ain't right. That ain't right. This he stayed nitpicking about something,
Mm.
about anything. Even the children got to the point they was uncomfortable.
Yeah, that ain't no way to live. That'll have my hair falling out. That'll have me so anxious and mm. Well, I thank the Most High that He is out of your life. We have similarities in that area as well. Um, the man that I married was much older than me. I don't know if you mentioned that or not,
But
but
my husband when we got together. I was he was 26. Wait a minute, I was 26. He was 36.
okay,
So
so
we were
not
10 years
too
apart.
bad. Mine's was 20 years apart. I was 21 and he was 41. Okay. So that was definitely um daddy issues, right? Um
Mhm.
he
And we
was
didn't even touch on that on my dad.
right,
We didn't
yeah,
touch on that.
daddy issues. Um look for somebody to fill that daddy role. And he definitely looking back like he definitely I remember many a times having to tell him, "You are not my dad, you are my husband." You know what
I
I
used to
mean?
say that you're not my daddy.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
Yeah,
the way
he
he would talk to me, it would be like how daddy would talk to their child.
like a dictatorship, like, I'm your wife, God rest his soul.
I remember
He
one day
definitely
we was outside the apartment. He was talking to some man. He was telling me, "You need to go back in the house. You don't you see two grown men out here talking?"
oh. All righty then. Wow. So we subject ourselves to first of all, what I found is that I would turn a blind eye to a lot of stuff in my
Yeah.
relationships.
Yes.
And there wasn't any middle ground. So I would return a blind eye for only so long though. Um, because when I was done, I was done. There was no middle ground. There was no working through it. You understand? I was just done. And I
He
meant that.
used to steal money
Yeah.
from me,
And
take
I
money
still
from me.
mm. So he ran the finances.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God. He did a lot. He did a whole heap of lot, a whole lot. But he was just like my mama, and he reminded me of my mama when she dated my sister and them daddy, because he was on drugs. My husband was on drugs. I didn't know he was on drugs until after the fact that we got together. We had been together for almost a year. I didn't know that man was on drugs. He hid it so well.
My husband was too. Well, my husband was an alcoholic. He didn't, but he waited. until the day of our wedding to drink. And when I
Wow.
say he drank, he drunk, girl. He got so drunk, I was every name in the book. I ain't have even heard this man curse before that. Okay, I hadn't heard this man cuss at all.
Well, he was
Girl, I'll
saving it for
never
the
forget
wedding
that
night
night.
then.
That was a horrible night. That was it. I was ready to wake up and go get an annulment for real because I saw the devil that night in his eyes. But trying to make it work. We just got married, child, boo. Anywho, that's a story for another time, honey. That was something else. And that man, like, he was obsessed with his guns, because he was a veteran. He would come home and he was a man that was set in his ways. So I knew his schedule like a book. You understand? I knew exactly what he was going to do when he was going to do it. He worked long hours. He owned barbershops and he was a loan shark. And so after work, he'd go collect money. But when he would come home, I have dinner. I worked at doctor's office. I ran a front office at doctor's office. So I would get home like around 6 after picking the kids up. Um, have dinner ready. He get home probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock. He would go straight upstairs, uh, take his guns out, clean them, then get in the shower. And he would go in his suitcase. He had a briefcase full of money, honey. He'd go in there, he'd put the money up. And let me back it up a little bit because my ex-husband used to give me at a minimum of $200 a day. Most days it was more than 200, but he never gave me less than $200 every single day. And he never, ever, ever, not one time missed a day without sending me roses. Sometimes he would send me roses twice in one day. Okay. So he treated me very well, even though I had my own job and could take care of myself. So we were good. We were good. We were in love. I did love him, even though he was older, and I believe he loved me. But when we got married, he got that drink and that was it. So, anyways, he would put his gun up, put his money up, get in the shower. So I have his dinner ready, have his plate ready. So when he came downstairs, right, girl, after we got married, the day we got married, he didn't give me not damn another dollar and ain't send me not damn another rose. He something I'm wrong. He sent me roses the day after we got married because he knew he hadn't showed his tail the night before. He sent me like 4 dozen roses in the room. I ain't get no more roses out that day and I ain't get no more money. Okay. He paid his portion of bills and I paid mine. And the whole time I am crushed. Okay. I'm crushed because I'm 21. I just got married. And I thought this was some fairy tale ish. You understand? I really did. I thought he was the perfect man until we got married. And he turned into a completely different person. He never stopped drinking. He would be passed out in the car drunk, then peed all over himself, girl. So after like about 2 weeks of this here going on, I started watching that briefcase. You hear me? He had one of the briefcases where the numbers rolled. Okay. I watched it for 3 days in a row. That third day, I said to myself, I know darn gone well the combination to this briefcase is not 501. 501 is the address to the darn jail in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Mm.
I put that 501 in there and I heard clink, clink. We're in the money. We're in the money. What? Girl, for like a week straight, baby. He had thousands of dollars in that briefcase. You hear me?
Mm.
Girl, the last day, this day, I ain't going there every day, but this day, I really needed some money. I go in the briefcase. Now, mind you, he's still drinking. He's showing his tail. When he get to drinking, he calls me out my name. We don't even have to be saying anything. He will come right in the house and call me out my name. Like, there was no argument. He just was the devil. Girl, I go in that briefcase and he done changed the combination.
Uh-oh.
When I tell you something just clicked in me, because now everything has come to head. I done married you, and you do a complete 360. I mean, I'm very hurt, is what I am. Because now I'm facing the possibility of divorce. You understand? You who
Mm.
gets married and think you're ever going to get divorced? That's just that was my thought process. And something just clicked. He was in that shower. I got a hammer and I went to town. You hear me? And that's you know how black folks, you know how black folks is, especially I know my mom back in the day, every lick she was preaching. And every hit on that thing, I was fussing. You hear me, Mookie?
Mm-hmm.
I bust that joker open and I grabbed me a whole bunch of money. By that time, he had done jumped out the shower, girl, butt behind naked, and he grabs his gun. Child, I saw zero. You hear me? Soon as
Mm-hmm.
he pulled that gun up on me, that hammer went to flying. You hear me? I said, "You gonna pull it? You better use it." And then that the hammer got stuck in the wall, and he went to running down the steps. And when you go down the steps, I had this huge candle and this round shaped vase that stood up in the hallway in the by the stairs. I grabbed that damn candle and I went after him and threw it down the steps and it lodged in the wall. I'm talking about this candle was long. At least girl,
Mm-hmm.
this candle was huge. He ran out of the house naked. I ain't give a damn. I was livid. You hear me? You gonna pull it, you better use it. Girl, cause I was over him. You done led me. You done pretty current day catfish me. Wooed me with all these roses. Everybody at my top. Oh my God, I want to marry him. You know what I'm saying, girl? I'm talking about girl, girl.
But nobody knew him. Did
Who?
anybody know him?
They would see him. I would get roses in the morning. Sometimes he would show up at my
I'm
job
saying
with
any family
roses.
members, his family
Oh,
members were around.
I mean, all my family, like my sister, my
No,
mom,
his family.
his family was in Philly. So I met his family. I met his family a
But
few
they ain't
times.
like, baby, you don't know about this one. You better not. You better run.
Nobody told me. Apparently, he was in recovery. I don't know how long he had been in recovery, so I don't know if they didn't feel the need to tell me. You know what I mean? Girl, it's so much more. We'll talk about that story. It's so much more to that story, but I'm just like, so from that, all the childhood trauma with that, going forward in relationships, I am now bitter. I'm angry. So my hope is now turned into anger, you know, and I'm gonna get you for you get me. I'm going to like I never put both feet in, because I just went in relationships with expecting to be hurt or to be wrong. So that's my thing, and that's why I stopped dating because I actually was dating a really nice guy. I don't know if you remember what's his name? Tony Florence. Tony Florence. I dated him for a while. Um, his mom was a big issue in our relationship, but Tony could have been a great man. He was so sweet. Like Tony would make me shower with him, and I wasn't confident with my body, but he would throw me in the shower. He was just a gentle giant, and I loved how he was with his children. And that Negro can cook, okay? And we had great times, but I would just leave him. Like, and he told me, he was like, I don't think you understand, like how you just broke up with me, like how you, and it really made me think. Tony Lawrence was my last official relationship, and that was in Port Charlotte. But Tony had some, like his mom held him back from a lot of things, and I couldn't deal with her. I just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. And then he'd be trying to save his brother, and I I was going through some things at the time and I needed to worry about me. You understand me? I can't help everybody.
Right.
Tony trying to, his mom abused him so bad. She talks so bad to him. I don't know if that lady still living or not, but she used to put him
Excuse
down.
me.
She used to put him
Damn.
down so bad.
Mm.
It was just terrible.
You
So,
never know that. You would never know that looking at him. Cause I knew him.
because
I ain't
you're,
know him like that, but I knew him of him.
you're a sweet guy. But yeah, so that was my last official relationship, me and Tony.
Mm.
Um, his daughter messaged me some years ago. I didn't even see the message till like 2 years ago, but she messaged me and she said, Miss Latasha, I want to thank you because out of all my dad's girlfriends, you the only one that put in time with us and actually helped me do my homework. And I said, of course, because that's just how I roll. If you have children, I'm gonna treat your children like I treat mine. But a lot of people like take advantage of that. Like my next relationship has to be a man that understands, just mature. Just
Right,
mature. I don't have time for this here who finna use who and all this and this and that. Because I refuse to allow the world to change who I am. You understand?
right, right.
Yeah. So,
I feel you
anyways,
on
is there anything else that you want to say? Because I feel like we kind of went this way, we went that way, but
that.
oh well.
Well, we got where we need to be at.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for anybody watching that that's been through this? Do you have any advice? I know advice from me is just to hold on. Um, my email is honestly Andrea@gmail.com if you need to reach out and talk to someone. Um,
My
do all
my email is Latoya Arrington345 at gmail.com. If you want to reach out to me, and my YouTube channel is Latoya Arrington. I mean Latoya Shareca. Let's talk.
Latoya
2.0.
Sharika 2.0.
Let's
Uh-huh.
talk.
Let's talk.
But I don't really have no advice. Just if something happened to you, tell somebody.
Yes,
Tell
I
somebody.
agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Don't
Tell
settle.
somebody.
If you're a young woman, don't settle for anything.
Mhm.
You always got room to grow. You got always got time to find love or whatever it is you're looking for. Don't settle for no anything. Don't. And I did a lot of settling. I've done a lot of settling, but I'm not doing that no more.
You ain't alone. We all have. We all have. But this, I feel like we're in a new season now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There is somebody out here for us. That I do know. Somebody out here for us, and we're going to be happy. There's somebody that's going to love us for us, and that is going to be mature enough to handle us when we are in a time of uncertainty where they can tell that we might be pulling away and he pull us in. You know what I'm saying? Because I find that a lot of men they think that we're bitter black women, and that's not the case. We
It's
have been
not.
forced to wear the pants. We've been forced to wear both pants. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to breathe. Like I'm not expecting a man to do everything, but I'm expecting a man to come in and be a fucking man. Excuse my language.
Preach,
You know
preach,
what I'm
preach,
saying? Right. I'm
preach.
expecting him to come in and be a man.
Be a man.
If you thinking that I'm bitter, say, hey babe, what's going on with you? Be mature enough to talk to me. Talk to me because it's apparent that I may not be able. I'm feeling like I can't talk to you, and maybe that's why I'm upset because you're supposed to be my man, and you're supposed to be the first person that I should be able to go to talk
Right.
to like that. You feel like he has got to be good with communication. I have to have communication. As my friend, I am a talker. Things need to be talked about. If
That's
if
right.
you spend your whole day trying to read somebody else's mind, 10 times out of 10, you don't know what these people is thinking. You have to
Mm-hmm.
talk. Like you got these people that assume. Like I had this one guy, not long ago that was wanted to date me or whatever, but he's an overthinker. He thinks he knows what I'm thinking, and then he's insecure all in one. That's too much.
It's
I
too
can't handle that. I can't handle that. I wish you well in life,
much.
but that's not where I'm at, baby. I'm not playing fix a who. I ain't playing fix a ninja no more. Them
I'm
days are
not.
over. Them days are
I'm
over,
not.
girl. Meet me where I'm at, or I'll meet you. What's up? You feel me? I can't. I ain't saying I
I
got it
know.
all
I can't
figured
do
out.
it. I can't do it. I won't do it.
I'm definitely not saying I have it all figured out, but meet me on a mature level. Meet me where I'm at, and let's grow together. That's where I'm at with it. You feel me?
Right. Right.
All right, love. I appreciate you joining me, and let me know if you ever want me over here on your channel.
Okay. I appreciate it. I really do.
Love you.
Love you
Thank you,
too.
anyone's watching. Shalom.
Salam.
That's my